Okay, hello everyone. This is the Tower Babble podcast. I am Julian.
I'm Dan.
And we're back. This is episode 4. We're still missing Jeremy, but
He's
have no fear. We will be back.
School.
Yeah, well, hey, school's important, Dan.
Bettering himself and whatnot.
Speaking of which, we actually have a little house cleaning to do first. We are moving to Monday nights for both the Tower Babble podcast and the Tower Babble breakdown for Game of Thrones, starting next week. So Jeremy should be back by then. Yeah. Other than that, that's really the only house cleaning, actually. But
and we missed last week the Tower Babble podcast, right?
We missed last week, but that was due to, again, scheduling and some family personal matters that I don't think we need to get into.
No, we don't need to talk about it. I just had some stuff. Stuff going on.
Whatever. Just know that it was out of our hands, and we'll from now on we'll try to, as best we can, make it every week. Other than that, we have 2 weeks of news to cover, so we might as well just jump right in.
Don't say jump into it ever again.
I'm gonna say it every time. It's my catchphrase.
That's your catchphrase. It's like jump into it.
It's like let the cookie crumble, or has the cookie, whatever,
Yeah, you can't even say that one right. I don't know if that's what you want. If you want to decide on a catchphrase right now, maybe just work with a couple other ones and see what you like.
I'll toss out a couple other ones. Let's
workshop
what's popular.
This a little bit.
But for now, we'll just jump right in. As always, we'll start with movies first. Both me and you have seen Star Trek.
Yes.
Star Trek Into Darkness. We'll start with talk a little bit about the movie before spoilers, and then we'll talk about spoilers. We'll tell you guys to jump ahead later. But at this point, Dan, overall, what did you think?
Overall, I enjoyed the movie. I'm looking forward to seeing it again. I always like to see them a couple times before I fully form my opinion. But based on my first viewing, it was pretty good. The lens flares were noticeable, but that's probably because I was paying attention for it. But there's a lot of them. A lot.
It's a starship. There's lots of shiny things.
I get it, but it's probably because I was just so aware of it that I noticed so much. But it was a lot. Anyways, that's not that huge deal though. The movie itself was pretty good. Acting was great on everyone's part, I think. Benedict Cumberbatch, especially as the villain, is awesome.
I really liked, personally, Carl Urban as Dr. McCoy.
Oh, yeah. No, he's awesome, too.
It was so funny, just because especially coming off of last week I saw was...
the damn it, Jim, and all that stuff. That's perfect. That's exactly like the old TV show.
Yes. And
damn
I haven't
it,
seen
Jim,
a lot
I'm
of the
a
original
doctor.
Series. Which was great. He's like, damn it, Jim, what does he say? Damn it, Jim, I'm a doctor, not a rocket scientist, or something
along
like
those lines, yeah.
I loved him. I loved,
Simon Pegg as Scotty.
Simon Pegg as Scotty was also great when they were doing the drunk thing.
Yeah,
when he was at that bar. Hilarious.
Perfect. He's a hilarious actor in general, but he's good in that role as well.
Yeah.
And it's good because you also know that he's a huge nerd and he's into these things. He believes in these things, and he just knows how to play the role perfectly.
Generally, what I enjoy most out of these movies, coming off of the first one, is just the interaction, the crew together. Yeah. Just when they talk to each other, whether it's Kirk and Spock, or it's
Spock and Uhura,
or that's good too. It's all of it is just. It's just great. It's why I go see it. It's not just because of the big set pieces and stuff like that, which is great too, and they did manage to do well. But it's also
and that's them not calling back, but paying homage. Not even paying homage. That's just them. That's what the TV show was really about, right? That TV show is an old school TV show. It's all about the crew and their relationships. A lot about Kirk and his various relationships, but the movies do a good job with that.
The only thing a couple of things they didn't do a good job on, and I'll do a couple gripes, is the female character, the daughter of the admiral. Yeah. Do we even remember her name? I honestly don't.
I don't, and I feel like she was unnecessary to the movie.
I feel like the only reason she was there was to make the admiral seem more important, and
maybe that I think that needed to happen too, because people I forgot.
Yes, exactly. It's okay. So we went.
Can we just do the spoilers already?
Yeah, we'll jump into this. Okay, so you guys don't want to hear spoilers about Star Trek, and I don't know why you're listening to this podcast if you haven't already seen Star Trek.
Well, no, there's other stuff. Yeah,
I get it.
It's a few days in by now. You probably should have seen it by now.
Yeah. So, okay, we'll get the big spoiler. So 3, 2, 1, spoilers.
Con.
Turns out Con. Yeah. Actually, you know what? And this is now 2 weeks, or not 2 weeks, 3 weeks. That's two big movies in a row where I've been fooled by by marketing because I did not.
Yeah.
It's the first time with the Mandarin and Iron Man 3. I thought they would play that straight, and they didn't. And now this time with what do they call him? It's
John Harrison.
John Harrison, and
who is an
John
actual
Harrison.
character from the Star Trek TV show. That's why it was sold so well. That guy, like him and Khan, they're both kind of these superhuman like experiments or whatever. Like they have very similar power sets in that sense, like physically. So like he easily could have been John Harrison, and that could have been the villain, and they could have just fleshed that character out and made him more intellectual. But instead, they made him Khan, and like they just found a way to make it work really beautifully. I thought that was one of the best parts of the movie.
Oh yeah, that's
and
scene
I was actually surprised when they said Khan. I was like, yes.
As I was, and if I did you get a cheer? You were at one of the opening things. I'm sure you got a cheer.
Yeah, I was at the first night. No, actually,
yeah.
I was surprised, but it was like a 9:00 viewing. It wasn't like the Die Hard midnight shows.
Well,
but,
they don't move. They moved the midnight shows, man. They don't have those anymore.
Okay,
they moved the midnight ones to 9:30.
I don't know. This was a whole thing. The theater was pretty packed.
A cheer.
No cheer. It really did not feel like it was. I was with like a bunch of super fans, you know. And I'm not really that much of a Trekkie either. But like I did, like kind of like squeeze my girlfriend's hand really hard and be like, yeah, fuck yeah, when it happened.
That's really funny. I was there. You were Thursday. I went on Friday.
I was up Wednesday.
And you went on Wednesday, so I went on Friday.
Yeah.
It premiered on Thursday, right?
Yeah.
And you saw it the day before the screening. Anyway.
Yeah.
I went on the Friday, and my theater was packed. Like there was people all the way to the front row of the theater at the IMAX, and there was legitimate like cheer when he says I am Khan or whatever he says.
I don't know. I felt like I was at like a matinee. Like there were some punk kids behind me that were like giggling the whole time and like almost like
don't
even
get me started
ruin
about...
it for me. But like I was annoyed with them. They were just laughing and like pointing out dumb stuff.
Don't get me started with dumb people. Like I had some lady literally talking nonstop through the entire movie.
Yeah.
It was the worst. Every time there's a joke, she's like, "Oh, that was great." I was like, "What?" Like,
I am enjoying this movie. This movie is fun for me.
Anyway, so that kind of ruined it for me a little, but overall, I really liked it. The theater was laughing at all the big jokes, and not just
there was a lot of humor in the movie too. That was good.
And right from the first scene, it started with that scene if they're on that alien planet and they're saving them from the volcano. Right from the get-go, it gets you in. You're like, okay, so we already know the crew's still together. They're just doing their stuff. You got Kirk running through the forest, and then he runs into McCoy, and then they're talking to Spock and Uhura and what's the Asian Sulu. I want to say Sato. That's Sato's from the Enterprise, by the way. The other TV show.
Okay.
Anyway, so they're doing the thing with volcano, which it looked cool. It looked really cool. The whole planet did with the red leaves and all that stuff. And then with the whole hiding the Enterprise underwater, that was a neat trick. And then they get into this it's Scotty's right away. He's like, "This is ridiculous. Why we should be hiding this underwater? The salt water, blah blah blah," which I thought was hilarious.
Simon Pegg's awesome for that kind of stuff.
The whole movie was great. And especially speaking of Simon Pegg, when he's standing at that console and that giant dude is like, "What are you doing here? Like, what are you doing at this like, station or whatever?" It's like, "Are you private security? You don't look like Starfleet. Are you?" Another gripe I had with it though was that whole space like jump scene where they're going through across to the larger ship. Was like straight from the first movie. It was just the same idea. They did a space jump thing in the first.
Yeah, kind of. This one was a bit more treacherous. I guess it was harder for them to do, but. They at least mentioned that he's had experience doing that.
He's like, I did this already. He's like, what? Never mind.
But like, it's not like that was like the climax of like that
No.
itself. That was just a part of it, something they had to do. Which whatever, it's not that big a deal.
Yeah, it was cool seeing the Klingons.
That is what I thought was really cool right away at the beginning. Is that obviously that's building up. Obviously, they're gonna do the whole Klingon War thing, maybe next movie or something like that. I don't know what they have planned, but like.
So in the original series, because I watched mostly just Next Generation, Voyager, and
I watched all of Voyager, a little bit of Next Generation. I don't even know why I watched all of Voyager.
Because we were at the right age.
Yeah.
And whatever. Anyway, so during the original series, the Klingons are evil, right?
Yeah, they're kind of like the main not evil. They're the main enemies in the original series, from what I understand.
Is in like the villains.
Well, like yeah, but like I'm pretty sure the Borg is a big thing in Next Generation, but not so much.
They were invented for the
Next Generation. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, so the Klingons are like the main enemies at that point in Starfleet history.
Okay, all right, so that makes sense. And so there's a whole like
the next movie is going to be Klingon War, hopefully, like something big, and they could have Worf in it.
No, they could. That would be well.
Like at that point,
are they? Do they just age less, like more slowly, or is that like?
I have no idea. I don't know.
Well, are there people in the next during the Next Generation? Is there people from the original series that are like alive still?
Probably alive, but like very old.
Okay, so it's possible then. Baby Worf's just like a kid.
Yeah.
In the next one, that'd be cool. Another thing, what was the point of talking to old Spock again? It literally had no implication to the rest of the film whatsoever.
It was just Leonard Nimoy needed a paycheck.
Or they just wanted, like, I don't know. There was a cheer when he appeared.
Okay, sure.
I just didn't feel necessary to me. I was like, well, they did this last time. He said, I'm not going to tell you.
And that kind of defeats the purpose, because the whole thing about him being a different Spock, like he didn't encounter this version of Khan.
No, his version of Khan was different.
It's kind of like it's kind of a bit of a plot hole, because like it wouldn't make sense for him to be talking to an alternate Spock about an alternate version of Khan. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it makes no sense. He's like, well, I'm not supposed to tell you. It's your destiny. Blah blah blah. Yeah. But I'll make an exception because it's Khan.
I don't know, but like I mean, the whole time travel thing has always been a little convoluted, and it's not fully fleshed out in the first place.
Well, the whole reason they do the time travel thing is so they can have the original timeline with everything that happened with the original series of Next Generation, and so have their cake and eat it too. So they can have the original timeline and this new timeline, this action-packed version of Star Trek.
I'm okay with it. I agree that like original Spock probably didn't need to be in the movie. Like he called him and asked for advice, and the guy's like, "Yeah, he's a dangerous dude. We already know that."
It's like, hey,
it's not like he told him what to do. You know, like he didn't tell him how to solve any of his problems. He just said, "This guy's dangerous."
Yeah, it makes sense. Okay, so speaking of Khan, he split his villain duties with that admiral, and I think that kind of didn't work very well.
No, I think it's okay. Like it's also kind of leading up to the Klingon War thing, because the admiral knows this is coming. He was just trying to be the one to steal the first stone. Like he was starting the war. He was taking the first shot, preemptive strike.
Did you know who that guy was? The admiral. It was played by RoboCop.
Oh really?
Yeah. What's his name again?
I don't know.
No. I know this. He played Batman in the Dark Knight and Dark Knight Returns. Or the Dark Knight Returns and Dark Knight Returns Part 2, the animated films.
The animated, yeah.
No.
It's not important.
It is. It's important to me because I can't remember it now.
Okay, you think. I'm going to be right back. Keep thinking, okay?
Wait, what? Okay, well, now I'm by myself. So I'm just going to go through a couple news items. I guess we're done talking to about Star Trek. Daniel has no say in this anymore. I'm just going to move on. As far as news bits that we haven't talked about, but I'm going to touch on quickly here.
Did you figure it out?
No, we're just moved on. I was just telling the audience that we moved on. We're not talking about Star Trek anymore, and you don't have a say in it because you left.
That's fine. Go watch the movie. That's all I have to say.
We both liked it. If you liked the first one, you'll like this one.
Okay, I will say that I like the first one more. Oh, no. I have more to say about Star Trek, so fuck it. We're sticking with it.
Okay.
You have no say.
Whatever.
I enjoyed the first movie more. They're comparable though. I was fooled with the whole Khan thing. I didn't think that. Like, obviously, I didn't know. And John Harrison is an actual villain from the original series. I also didn't follow the original series too much, but I know of this, and their power sets are kind of the same. They're kind of
So they
super
merged
soldiers
them.
essentially. So it was really cool how they did merge that the villains into one. Like I was sold on the John Harrison thing, and I assumed that the movie was going to be he's the bad guy, and they were going to save Khan for like something bigger and better.
Well, here's my thing, is that what purpose did it serve to fool us in the first place? Did have us not know it was Khan from the like until halfway through the movie? We didn't know what, and for the marketing, what purpose did that serve? Did it? I don't think it improved the film in any way to have us guessing.
I think it does, and it does only for people who are like big fans. It kind of does. Like anybody who's not a Trekkie probably wouldn't really care about that big reveal, but that's not who the movie's necessarily made for.
But I mean,
I doubt it increased sales in any way, like in terms of marketing, having it marketed like that.
I think you could, because for instance,
yeah, as Khan, it would probably have been bigger.
My parents who watched the original series but don't go to movies very often. I think they would go if they knew that Khan, they keep talking. My parents are like, that's the best of the Star Trek movies. They talk about. Yeah. My mom talks about it all the time.
I mean, like the other ones all pretty much suck, but
okay, but
Wrath of Khan's good.
Anyway, so they go. I think that would have improved. Not that I say they didn't do poorly. I'm sure it's doing well, especially internationally and in the U.S. / North America. But I think it would have helped, and I don't think it served any purpose to have it, because literally all it did was the reveal would have been just as sweet to know it was Khan ahead of time as it was.
I don't think so. Not for me, anyways. I know for me it wouldn't have been.
Okay, for you maybe, but I don't think most in my opinion, I don't think most Trek fans thought it wasn't Khan. I think most knew from the beginning it was anyway.
No, nobody thought it was. People thought it was Khan at first, and then when they announced it was John Harrison, and they denied all the Khan rumors, people like let go of that a little bit, and they obviously they're doing a Star Trek reboot. They're gonna do Khan. Khan's the most well known of the first generation enemies, right?
No, and he's not even dead.
Yeah,
they just froze him again.
I don't know. I thought they did it well, and like I said, I told you when they revealed it, when it happened in the movie, I got pumped. I was excited. In terms of selling people and like getting them to come to the movie, it probably didn't help them, but I think they were relying a lot on how popular the last movie was with like general audiences, and the movie is, like you said, doing well.
Yeah.
So that was, I guess, it was more for the more for the fans than anything, like more for the like Trekkies and more for like people who have been following the series. I don't think it really hurt them that much.
Okay, well that's fair. Those are just like those. If you read my review, which is up on our site at the TowerBabblePodcast.com, I speak about this movie from the perspective of someone who's never really watched any of the original series and has never watched Wrath of Khan. So,
but now you should go and watch Wrath of Khan.
I think
they did a lot of nods to Wrath of Khan.
I think I definitely will now. But other than that, we got to move on. We got lots to talk about, so we're gonna move on to other stuff. I'm gonna go through some of this stuff quick. You tell me if you have anything to say about it. If not, I'm gonna go on to the next thing. Okay, so Star Wars Episode 7 is gonna be shot in the UK, and the most obvious news of anything is that Kathleen Kennedy, who's the president of LucasArts, said that the original films will be a major influence. Like, no kidding.
Yeah, I mean that's not really new. I think Star Wars was always shot in the UK primarily, right?
The original series was the prequels were shot in Australia, I think.
Oh, okay. Oh yeah, I mean that's good news, and like I would hope that them doing another trilogy, they're gonna focus like. The prequel trilogy, there was a lot of backlash from hardcore fans that didn't like the direction they took.
Here's the thing you got to remind to hardcore fans about Star Wars, who didn't like the prequels. They said they're too kiddie. The Star Wars has always been for kids. That's a fact. Star Wars has always been
like a PG thing.
Yeah, so get over it. You're not going to get. You might now.
I don't think that's why people didn't like them though. I mean,
there are some of them. Okay, there were some moments that were poorly written. There was some.
Yes. I think the writing was the main issue.
And they did stuff with characters that like with Django, for instance, that they didn't like. But I mean, get over it. I actually really like the prequels, and
I don't mind them. Like they're not. I don't get mad watching. Episode 2 sucks. Episode 2 is the worst one, but I don't mind watching them.
Especially in retrospect, when you
understand why though.
When you include like the Clone Wars and stuff, we have some more news in the TV segment about animated Star Wars television. By the way,
Yeah, we'll get to that.
But as far as in retrospect, they're not as bad as we made them out to be. They're really not. And as a whole, the whole 6 movies it's pretty damn entertaining, and I'm not going to complain anymore.
But like, I would also say that the best parts of the prequels, are mainly just like the lightsaber and like the cool special effects. Like in terms of the story moves much better in the first 3.
Yeah, agreed. And you couldn't. Okay, I was gonna say it's a very controversial thing here. Okay.
Yeah.
The lightsaber fight sucked in the original.
Well, I mean, like they didn't really have anything. Like you have to remember, like I guess they had a bigger budget after the first one came out, but like it was more about it being a duel and more about it being like them using the Force than being like these badass samurais.
Which I get, but at the same time, I would still much rather see the fights than
of course, it's much more entertaining.
Anyways,
so episode 7 and 8 and 9 being
shot in the UK.
Yeah, shot in the UK and heavily inspired by the original trilogy.
Again,
it's good news. It's all good news.
Yes, the good news and super obvious. There is the first animated film that will be based on a Marvel property is called Big Hero 6. So this is on its own isn't that big of news, but I think it's more big of a news for what it can lead to. I'll give you the quick recap of the Big Hero 6. Quote, a robotics prodigy named Hiro Hamada and his robot companion Baymax, who join a team of superheroes in high-tech city called San Francisco.
Okay.
And anyway, so it's a very stylized world, merger of San Francisco and Tokyo, obviously.
Yeah.
But on its own, probably not that big of a deal. But what it can lead to with animated Marvel films, I think that's what it really spells.
Well, yeah, like that. In my opinion, right now, Marvel's like doing a lot of work, and I say the more Marvel, the better. Just like Star Wars, more Star Wars, the better. I don't care.
Yeah, exactly. They're Marvel right now is killing it, really.
Yeah. Well, Disney in general.
Yeah. Well, they have the 2 largest properties in entertainment right now. Well, yeah. Except for Call of Duty.
That's pretty accurate.
The only thing I'm missing is Call of Duty. Speaking of more Marvel stuff, we have contract issues with the cast members for Avengers 2. So Thor has said, so Chris Hemsworth and Black Widow, Scarlett Johansson have both come out and said they're not going to back down. They want to be paid fairly, essentially. They got paid a lot less. For instance, Downey made $50 million for Avengers. Some of the other cast members made $200,000 in comparison.
That's ridiculous.
Yes. Chris Evans has been already recast, so that one's for sure. But okay, here's the thing. Marvel is notoriously cheap when it comes to this kind of stuff. But I think they'll get them signed when it comes all down to it.
Yeah, I mean, like, they are making a lot of money, but at the same time, these big budget movies, they have a lot of big name actors in it. They can't pay everybody $50 million.
No.
So people like Robert Downey Jr. probably have to take pay cuts and make a few $1 million less, and you're still making millions of dollars. Like, I don't know. I think for those, especially like the disparity between Iron Man and Captain America is ridiculous, because those are 2 of like the cornerstones, and they both have a decent role in the movie. Yeah, Iron Man, I guess, had his movies leading up to it, and Iron Man like set the stage and made it possible for Avengers to happen. But like that's a very big difference.
Yeah, that's completely it should be a little bit more parity there.
I understand them wanting more money or wanting fair pay. Anyways.
Oh yeah, that's fair. Moving on with Marvel stuff. So Marvel already has scripts for a Miss Marvel and a Blade reboot. Blade is as far as in the Marvel universe, so not just Blade with how they did before. This would be incorporated into the Marvel animated or cinematic universe. Okay, which is more interesting in my opinion. Although
I think Miss Marvel's a bigger part, but that's all good. I want a Black Panther movie.
They have it. Okay, here's the thing. We'll get to that. There's a bunch of Phase 3 news that we have to go through pretty quick. Okay. Just because they have scripts, they've said that doesn't necessarily mean that there's going to be movies made in the near future. But that doesn't mean there won't be either. So they're being pretty cryptic. But I wouldn't expect to see Miss Marvel or Blade reboot for a bit yet. At least not till Phase 4. So Phase 3, Feige had a whole bunch to say about that in the last week. So Ant-Man, they're hard at work on that. What the small tidbit of stuff that I got from that is the Ant-Man, which is one of the original pitches that Marvel got for like way back before even Iron Man, were from Wright. What's the director, the writer? Anyway, essentially, the reason that they formed their own studio was because when they pitched this film, they had stuff like studio heads going like, I don't get it. Is he a man that's part ant? And they're like, I can't handle this anymore. We're gonna make our own studio.
They thought he was like Spider-Man but ants instead.
Yeah, I guess. So they're like, we don't want to deal with this anymore. So we're gonna do our own thing. So that's one of the catalysts that drive where we are now. Doctor Strange is a strong candidate, or a prime candidate, quote unquote, by Feige for a Phase 3 movie.
Doctor Strange is a weird one, actually. It's hard for him to fit in with the rest of the Marvel universe.
It would just be another facet. So you have the science side, you have like the mythical side, and now you'd have the magic, essentially.
Yeah, and that's fine. Doctor Strange is sweet. It's just like, and he is a member of the Avengers eventually, but like, he's so much separate.
He's the Sorcerer Supreme.
Majority of his stuff is very separate from everybody else.
Yeah. But he said he really likes his stories. He thinks he has he could make a good movie, essentially.
Okay, sure.
He then goes on to say that he sees no reason there can't be 20 to 50 Iron Man movies.
Okay, that's a bit much.
Well, he says there's no reason it can't be as quote-unquote evergreen as James Bond. He doesn't see any reason that you couldn't keep making them forever, essentially, and just
it's popular right now, but like,
exactly.
I mean, the way that things have been handled, I have a lot of faith in them at Marvel right now. They've done, especially after Iron Man 3, I wasn't even very excited going into the movie, and then I was very impressed. I know they're going to treat it right. So if they can make 20 movies and do it right, and, don't kill it and don't just start using, like, shitty enemies and actually make them captivating movies, then yeah, for sure. But, like, don't just do it for a paycheck.
Well, I get that. But at the same time, I mean, James Bond had ups and downs. So, I mean, I understand what he's saying. He's saying that there's no reason that this character can't just persist through time in the same way that James Bond does.
Yeah.
Which I'm fine with. I mean, it doesn't have to... At some point, maybe they'll do a reboot like they did with Casino Royale. It doesn't have to be the same, like, story moving forward forever. You know what I mean?
Well, I actually, no, to a certain extent, I get that, because with all these, like Iron Man and all these other superheroes, they have their own comic series, they have plenty of stories, and like plenty of subject matter that you can take inspiration from.
Oh yeah, of course. There's never-ending fountain.
Yeah. So why not make a few, but like, yeah.
So I mean, he means that by like, just Iron Man, but I think that goes for all of Marvel. There's no reason that we couldn't keep seeing these movies till we die, essentially. And past that. Black Panther, there's no movie being made yet, but the rumors you've been hearing is because of passion, not just from fans, but also from inside the studio. So it's another prime candidate, according to...
Black Panther's a cool one. Not so much about... Like, yeah, he can be part of the Avengers and he can be connected to the rest of the universe, but... I don't know, just it's a unique... Not necessarily... It is a unique story, I'd say.
Yeah, it's different from the rest. It's like it's a secluded...
Not just because of the color of his skin, but like
no.
The character is a very cool, very regal character, and someone that people really get behind. He's the definition of a hero.
Yeah, he's
kind of like the Black Captain America, but
yeah, that's true. His whole world and story is interesting.
But the other thing, Wakanda was in Avengers, right?
Oh, yeah,
it was on a map.
It'll be there.
They've talked about vibranium, I believe, right? With the shield and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So a vibranium story with Black Panther and like connecting that to the Avengers is conceivable.
I don't see any reason that this won't eventually happen soon. It will. And there was tweets a couple weeks ago from some actor saying that he's been reading Black Panther comics, and everyone got all excited. Anyway.
Who?
I don't remember anymore.
Digimon Hunsu?
I don't think so.
That's the guy from Blood Diamond.
It's not that guy. So they have nothing planned.
No way. I'm pretty sure there's a little series of animated shorts, like a TV series
with him voicing it.
I think Digimon Hunsu does the voice of Black Panther.
Oh,
it's really bad. It's terrible. But I watched it all anyways.
So we have they'll continue to say there's nothing planned for Ghost Rider, Blade, or Punisher, which they have all back. They said Blade, as I said earlier, but they have nothing planned for them at this time.
They have a script, but it's not a priority.
Yeah, no Planet Hulk movie is coming. They're still going to try to figure out how a standalone Hulk movie can work.
That's good, because Planet Hulk, like, you need to really establish that first, right?
They also talked about Inhumans and the Runaways. Well, they're both looked at, and they're interesting, but they don't know where they can really fit right now. And then they said they probably won't do a Marvel Zombies movie, at least for a long time, just because it's just too jarring to see the Hulk eat someone.
I don't think you need a Marvel Zombie. Like, it's a cool comic and everything. You don't need a movie of that.
No, I don't think so either. Just because zombies are popular doesn't mean you need to take the Marvel movies and make Marvel Zombies.
That's probably jumping the shark a little bit.
Yeah, okay. And then...
Okay, wait, so they said they don't have any plans for the Inhumans, right?
No, it's just kind of like, it's interesting, we're interested in it, but we don't know how they would fit in right now. And they also... Yeah, go ahead.
Like, what I get from that is the whole, like, Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver news for the Avengers. They're probably not going to have Inhumans as their backstory. So, like, because they aren't allowed, if they can't use mutants and they can't use the whole Magneto backstory, how are they going to... Are they just going to be people that randomly have these powers?
Maybe. Well,
there was a whole thing about, like, them being Inhumans, because it's very similar to the mutant story.
Yeah, that makes sense.
If they're not going to mention that, I don't know what they're going to do with it.
What Feige said is that the Inhumans thing is interesting because it deals with the whole social aspect of it. And then he says that that's something that Fox has been touching on for some time now. So we don't know really where Inhumans would fit in with us right now. And then with Runaways, he's saying that really there's only room for cheap, like, low budget stuff and the big huge blockbuster, and it kind of fits in between there, so they don't really know how that would work right now either. A couple more bits. No War Machine or Falcon spinoff. Feige answers Twitter questions, says that they expect to hear more about Extremis, what S.H.I.E.L.D. was up to during Iron Man 3, and
hopefully more from AIM as well.
Yeah, and what he'd like to see done with Iron Man in the future, like who else he'd like to see in a suit. He said that Happy Hogan has been in the suit in the comics, and you wouldn't be against seeing him in a suit at some point. Robert Redford, who is cast in Iron Man and Captain America, is apparently a villain, or at least that's what came out. I think he slipped up in an interview. The Rock has tweeted.
Wait. I want to. Okay, like, what villain would you think he's going to be? You already know the Winter Soldier is going to be, like, knowing the comics, and I don't know if this is a spoiler for anybody, but the Winter Soldiers, can we say? Can we talk about that?
We could talk about that. I think it's
so everybody knows, like, the Winter Soldier is Bucky, who died, who quote unquote who you thought were led to believe died in the first movie, was kind of his, like, sidekick or, like, whatever. So he's coming back, and in the comics, he's programmed by the Russians to be an assassin, a sleeper agent. So he's just woken up every however many years to carry out these missions, and then put back to sleep. So do you think Robert Redford's then the boss, something like someone within the Russian government?
Well, I think I think he's playing someone within S.H.I.E.L.D. If I had to guess.
Within S.H.I.E.L.D.
So it comes. The quote is that he says, "I like the idea of playing a villain. I did that just because it was something different for me to do." So they talk about this article that a character called Alex Goodwin Pierce wasn't a villain, but rather a S.H.I.E.L.D. sleeper agent who served as a contact between Nick Fury and Tony Stark, but also tangled with Hydra. So there's... it's possible, because we already know that Nick Fury has to answer to a higher power. He's not just his own, one-man wrecking crew.
Yeah.
So I think he might be one of those higher power, but maybe not necessarily like a villain in the sense of, like, I'm evil and I want to destroy the world, but is in the sense of, like, I'm doing this because I think it's right, even though, it's...
Like the Admiral in Star Trek?
Yeah, that's like that in that kind of sense. That's, where I would most likely guess
I don't
it
know,
to
we'll
be.
See.
What else? We have The Rock tweeted out a picture of Luke Cage and a picture of him right next to it and saying, Marvel, whenever you're ready, I'd love to play Luke Cage. Essentially.
That's pretty cool.
And Feige has said that he would love to have The Rock play Luke Cage, so...
The Rock's he's actually, like, a decent actor. Like, it's not just about him being beefy and looking the part. He's a good actor. I'm sure he could pull it off and do a great job.
I think
he's very entertaining to watch.
He would be a great Luke Cage. I think he has the right personality for it. I think he has the right...
I don't know. I want Michael J. White.
Nope.
Michael J. White is... Yeah, what are you talking about?
Nope.
Why? You're racist. That makes you a racist.
I just choked on my wine. No, I just don't. I think. Okay, just not that
You
I
know
don't
who
want
Michael
him.
J. White is?
Yes.
He's Jax in the Mortal Kombat Legacy. Oh, by the way, there's a trailer for season 2 of that, which I got really excited when I saw.
Okay, well, you just added some news. Hear that, guys?
Yeah.
Trailer for season 2.
I feel like that's kind of old news. I just saw it the other day, and it's news to me.
Okay, fair enough. So, what are we talking about? No,
Michael J. White, he's ripped. He can do all the stunts and like he can do like the physical side of it. So can The Rock, obviously, but like they're both like he's a trained martial artist, so they can both pull off the physical side of the role. Michael J. White seems like he's more like gritty and more like the street thug that Luke Cage is.
I guess, yeah. I agree, but I think at the same time,
I'm sure The Rock could do a great job. I would love to see The Rock doing it.
This way Marvel has done, like, set their tone for their films. I think Rock fits into that tone better than
The Rock should play Gladiator.
the one from like the alien,
like from
dude?
the Shi'ar.
Yeah.
I mean, I doubt that's ever going to be a storyline anytime soon.
They don't have access to the Shi'ar. That's an X-Men.
Oh yeah, well it's Fox. I mean, he could still be in an X-Men movie.
I guess, but
he hasn't.
I only bring this up because Feige has also said that he would love to have The Rock in a Marvel movie. So that'd
be alright. No, yeah. I'm sure he could. And they've also they've said that the dude in the TV show is not Luke Cage, right?
Yes, they've already.
There's a black superhero in the TV show that looks like he just has like strength and kind of speed powers.
Yeah, but yeah, he does. That's not Luke Cage. They've already admitted that.
Right.
Then we have the extra scenes that were put in for the Chinese version.
Do you think that? Yeah, I'm sorry. You think that guy in the TV show is like the new Power Man? You know how that like
no.
You know, there's a younger black kid that became Power Man.
No, I don't think that's the case. I think it's someone new. I think it's something completely new. Unless that would be cool though, because I'd be like, no, it's not Luke Cage, but it's Power Man. That's a cool twist. I like that, but at the same time, I don't think that's what it is. So the extra scenes from Iron Man 3 that were put in for the Chinese version of the film will be released as a short film. So apparently they weren't very interesting anyway, but that's some news. And then Feige also talked to Collider and thinks that they have the rights back to Elektra, but he's not 100% sure.
Okay, well he said that they're not going to do a Daredevil movie. They better not do another Elektra movie that sucks before they do a Daredevil reboot.
I'm sure they won't. I mean, that doesn't make any sense. I mean, she spins out of Daredevil, so you do another Daredevil, and you do another Elektra. Yeah. Professor X might make an appearance in the Wolverine. There might be a cameo during a Wolverine reshoot.
Okay.
So I think
doing what? Because doesn't Wolverine take place after X3?
It does.
So
it might tie into
like a flashback. He has flashbacks with Jean Grey.
Yeah, it could be a flashback, or it could be tie into Days of Future Past.
Well, that'd be weird.
That'd be cool.
That would be awesome. Yeah. But like,
whoa, that'd be weird.
The whole Days of Future Past storyline is weird. That's like the point of it.
Okay, so that's all the Marvel news, and there's always so much goddamn Marvel news.
Yeah, they've been doing a lot.
It's not
even
stuff.
like a lot. There's always like a little like mini news bits that like when you I don't know.
Yeah, I tried to break it into like small stuff, and we ended up talking about it way too long. And the other rest of the movie stuff is we have Jurassic Park 4 has been put on hold, but Dan, don't worry. That's just not a movie.
I don't know. Like I'm in the middle. I finished Jurassic Park and I'm in the middle of Lost World, like reading the books again. And I'm really enjoying it, and I had a dream about dinosaurs the other day. And it's like reminds me of being a kid and loving all this shit.
I'm just saying that like it's not a movie that won't be made. It'll be made one day. Maybe just not right now. Did you see the Ender's Game trailer with Harrison Ford?
No, I mean I saw it, but I didn't like watch it. You know what I mean? I just saw it.
I don't really have anything to say on it. It just there is one. Ender's Game has a trailer now. Harrison Ford is in space. So if you like Harrison Ford in space, you might want to watch that trailer. There's the next Seth MacFarlane film has been set for release for 2014. It's called A Million Ways to Die in the West. It stars Charlize Theron, Liam Neeson, Amanda Seyfried, Sarah Silverman, Giovanni Ribisi, and Neil Patrick Harris.
Dope.
That's a good.
That's a good cast. It'll be cool to see Liam Neeson do like funnies. Remember the show Life's Too Short?
Nope.
With Warwick Davis, the midget, the guy who played Willow.
Nope.
Come on, man.
I honestly don't know what you're talking about.
It's an HBO show, and it's kind of like a mockumentary style show, like The Office and whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like his life as a little person, and it's a comedy.
And this is
like,
Liam Neeson in it?
No. Well, Liam Neeson's I guess he has a lot of like famous friends or whatever. Like Johnny Depp is in it. Johnny Depp's hilarious in it.
Okay.
And it's just really them. It's like him trying to get jobs and do whatever. And the Liam Neeson decides he's gonna be a comedian and has seriously, you gotta look up. We'll take a break and you can look up a clip. He tries to deliver these lines and he's just like not.
Oh wait,
funny,
hold on.
Serious and intimidating.
Hold on. I think I saw that clip before an episode of Game of Thrones. I think I know what you're talking about.
We watched it at my house a couple times last season.
It came on before, like right after,
yeah,
right before Game of Thrones. It was on the PVR, and I remember laughing really hard. It was about like the Holocaust or something, right?
I don't know. He just he tells a joke about AIDS.
That's about AIDS, right?
He can't figure out. He can't like deliver the punchline. It's really we'll look it up in a second.
Yeah, okay.
And everybody else that you're listening, look it up too.
Okay.
Liam Neeson from Life's Too Short.
Will Ferrell and Vince Vaughn are teaming up again for a movie called Daddy's Home.
Okay.
New Anchorman 2 trailer came out.
Yeah, I saw that trailer. It was part of my
really funny.
Yeah. Well, the trailer itself wasn't really funny. I'm just excited for the movie.
I was like,
hilarious.
the part where he's like, I have a new cologne. It's called Venom. It's pretty much just snake venom.
No, the best part was Brick trying to like say his line.
Well, that part
just say hello, Brick.
And he looks right at the camera, like awkwardly.
Yeah.
There's another new Pacific Rim trailer. Just another one.
Again, I saw it. I didn't watch it.
Okay,
I
fair
saw
enough.
the headline.
So
I don't care about that movie.
It's gonna be good. That's all you have to know.
It's gonna be
actually. There was a little bit of news about that. What's his name? The director, the Latino one. Anyway, the director of the film,
Guillermo del Toro.
Thank you, Guillermo, came out and talked about there will be a second one and what it will be about, and it's gonna be about like the aliens, like less so about just these giant like robots and stuff, and more about like the aliens and what like their deal is, which is cool. Apparently, they're like
I mean, I'm gonna go see the movie. I'm not pumped.
It just looks cool to me. Like it's like Transformers again. Except I was super hyped for Transformers.
Transformers mixed with real steel. Like,
yeah, I guess that's kind of a good comparison.
Giant fighting robots. It's the Megazord.
Fair enough.
I would rather. Holy shit!
Actually, it totally is. Holy shit! It is the Megazord. It's just as big as it. The Megazord used to like fight above buildings and stuff,
and fight monsters like that. It is. This idea happened in Japan a long time ago.
Okay. All right, fair enough.
But I want to see a Power Rangers movie is what I said holy shit about. Like a good Power Rangers movie.
Like a reboot.
Why don't they just make this a Power Rangers movie? They should have just 5 people that do the robot.
A gritty reboot of the Power Rangers.
A gritty reboot of Power Rangers.
But like
with like the old school one, like Jason and Kimberly and everybody.
Oh yeah, no, and like what's the guy in like the Tube's name again? It's like
Zordon.
Is
that his name?
Yeah, Zordon isn't like a floating thing though anymore. It's just
floating
like
head.
It's just like he's like a government agent that
it could be like an acronym. Like I don't know what the Z would stand for.
I don't know. Xylophone. No, it's X. Xylophone is X. But like, that would be. I'm down. Never mind.
We should make like a Kickstarter for this thing and make this happen.
I'm there. I'll pay $20 to go see that movie. So I think we're done with movies, and we'll jump into TV news right after this.
Okay, Julian's jumping. I'm not jumping. Julian's jumping. I'm gonna go into it, but I'm not jumping into anything anymore.
We'll both be jumping into TV news right after this. So I'll be right back.
Take a break.
Hey guys, thanks for listening to this excerpt from our Tower of Babble podcast. If you want to hear more, you can find the rest at towerofbabblepodcast.com and on iTunes and Stitcher. But we want to know what you think, so send us questions or concerns to towerofbabblepodcast@gmail.com. And don't forget to follow us on Twitter @TowerBabblecast and like us on Facebook at facebook.com/TowerBabblecast.